Welcome to the Weightlifting Scoop.
James,
Hello.
what up?
We're here with Travis Cooper, Glenn Pendlay, and Becca Gerdon. And, of course, me, James Tatum.
Of course.
Tatum.
We had a jump roping seminar at the gym yesterday.
And it was
Saturday.
awesome.
We didn't take part, but Glenn did. Glenn
Yeah,
got out there.
I jumped 4 or 5 times at maximum.
Yeah.
Don't get too crazy.
No. That it tired me out. I say that again, at least.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff's hard.
Well,
Jump-
do you know the name of the group, James?
Jump and rope. So, like, jump and rope.
Like letter N.
Yeah, the letter N.
Yeah, jump and rope. Yeah,
That's
They were-
fairly clever.
Yeah, I mean,
they were pretty good
you
though.
even got a Facebook page.
The guy did a bunch of demos. I mean, basically, it was geared towards CrossFitters, obviously learning double unders. But he showed some pretty advanced stuff. He strung together quadruple unders.
Well, the girl that was going, she did some ridiculous move where she actually did like handstand into a jump rope.
Yeah.
Something.
One guy did a backflip,
Backflip,
while jumping 2
yeah.
ropes. And
It looked impressive.
Yeah, so they kind of gave a glimpse into the jump roping competitive world.
A glimpse into the wonderful world of jumping rope.
Yeah. And,
It is pretty intense, like the kind of things that you can do. I mean, I would never be interested in
Doing
getting that good at jump roping, but I mean, it's certainly impressive some of the things that they can do.
It seems monotonous because all you can really do is jump the rope.
well,
Again,
if it's you. But if it's them doing it, they make it not monotonous somehow.
there's so many different things you can do with it.
When they do it, it's not, but when I do it, it is.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like when I do it, it's even more monotonous
Oh, yeah.
because I do it very slowly.
Just gotta practice.
Well, you have to bring that up, Becca.
Yeah. Nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody wants to practice jumping rope, at least not in my book.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
There's so many more fun things you can do, like snatches
Yeah.
or clean and jerks.
I'll give you that.
I'll agree with that.
When I was in my, I was going to become a PE teacher for a while. And when I was in that program, they used to have this big jump rope challenge for like elementary school kids. And they got these little elementary school kids like going to town on some jump rope. Now just think, if we just brought weightlifting into elementary school kids and had them like learning how to do snatches in 3rd grade.
You'd probably end up with some good weightlifters.
Yeah. Well, I've seen videos of like Russian PE classes where they do that, where they're in there, they're out on a tennis court
Those damn Russians.
with like those, just those plates, like the trainer plates and little barbells, and they're going to town. Yeah.
Well, they finally do. They brought back the little plastic plates for the little kids. I saw over Christmas a lot of parents that are doing CrossFit or following weightlifting programs now bought their kids those plastic sets, which they used to have those back in the 50s. When John Coffey was on the podcast, he was talking about those, how back in the 50s he started lifting on those. So
You need to figure out how to make those out of wood or something.
Yeah, well, I've made them out of wood. I mean, they work good as long as you don't drop the barbell.
Well, that's the major deficiency.
Yeah.
If you drop the bar, you ruin it.
Yep.
I like those. You know what company makes a good training disc is Lyoco. They have the ones that are made from aluminum in the center hub, and then some kind of plastic around the edge.
Yeah, I saw some DHS like that too in a stand at the World Championships. I
like the Lyocos because they're cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a cooler name than DHS.
yeah, I've never even heard that. You know what's an even cooler name is or you might think so. Is Pendlay a cooler name?
Well, yeah, of course. That's the coolest.
Yeah.
But,
maybe we'll have some Pendlay training plates
maybe so.
one day.
That's an idea.
And it all started here. So
I would be behind that.
I mean, I would get them.
Kids everywhere were training on 5 kilo Pendlay training sets.
household name.
I would consider that a win.
And if I was
Yeah.
a PE teacher, I'd buy a whole set of them.
Well, I'd buy 100 sets.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, if we're talking about hundreds, I think we're expecting a kickback, Glenn. We gave you a great idea.
Yeah, I could see that. And maybe just the idea that you could, take them to your local CrossFit and maybe get a set of them would be payment enough. Although, I don't know.
I mean, one thing that would be great is when you have the 10-pound plates on the 15 kilo or 20 kilo bar, and you're dropping it in a workout, like whether it be Fran or whatever, it's not good for the plates.
Yeah.
When you have those thin discs. So finding a way to either have some thicker discs that weigh less, or one thing that they were talking about in Australia is they were able to get the 10 kilo bar, or
because they have that crazy kilo thing going on.
Or maybe it was it might have been a 25-pound bar with two 25-pound bumpers, put it at the right weight for certain workouts. So,
Well,
Yeah, at my gym, I have a few of those 10 kilo bars. I like those.
I like those too. I think those are better because of the 10 kilo.
Yeah.
They're a little bit lighter. They're a little bit shorter, and I prefer the 10 kilo bars.
well, I guess how they were selling it was a 10 kilo bar with 10 kilo disc, and they were selling it because 30 kilos is about the Fran weight for women. And so when they were dropping the bar with the 10 kilo disc, they weren't breaking the 10 kilo disc. So it was like completely safe for the plates.
As opposed to
dropped.
a 20 kilo bar with 5 kilo plates.
Exactly, or 5-pound plates,
That just proves that CrossFit has gotten way too powerful. They're taking over the weight that our weights and discs away. Obviously, that can't be a good thing. No, it's a good idea to have those lighter plates especially for women or for little kids or anything like that. Light bars, light plates, because you can't have plates that are delicate, because you're gonna throw weights around when you're doing Fran. You're gonna have crashes and all that, and if you're breaking plates every other day, that's not a good thing.
No, just a way for a gym to have more sustainable equipment. So something to think about, a good idea, in my opinion. So James, you got a question from someone on Twitter or on Facebook.
On Facebook, somebody said, "How do I get a strong back?"
Is that it?
That was it.
All right. Well, there's a million different ways
That's
you
a
can get a strong
relatively
back.
open-ended question.
My first response was, I said, train your back. And they weren't pleased with that answer, of course.
Well, that seems like a reasonable response.
Well, dick move, you know that.
I guess so. But I mean,
Let's not be calling names now, Travis.
Glenn said, I mean, that's a very in-depth question almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually told him, I said, hey, we might actually talk about this on the podcast, and I'd send it to him. So it wouldn't be such a dick move on my part, but
That was nice of you.
It depends what he's trying to do, too.
Yeah. So there's also, there's strength in the back and then flexibility in the back. And flexibility in the back and hamstrings is what I've been working on.
Well, the back's such a complicated part of your musculature, because there are a multitude of things the back can do, and back strength goes along with hamstring strength and a whole host of other
All
body
posterior
parts.
chain in general.
Any posterior chain exercise is going to be, at least in part, a back exercise.
Well, just doing back squats and deadlifts will definitely get your back as a base.
yeah.
So I'm assuming he's already doing those things if he's training.
Yeah, I would assume so. I'd assume he is interested in weightlifting, is probably doing snatches and clean and jerks, and let's say his weak point is his back, loses position. So one of the first things that popped into my head was just specifically for like the erectors or the back muscles, is to teach them to become a stabilizer muscle to keep the spine straight through like the hard range of motion on the pull or something. And then, of course, weightlifting, the popular one, is an RDL. Romanian deadlift. But truthfully, I like good mornings more to teach somebody how to get their back to act as a stabilizer and keep it in that natural curve and strengthen it up in there.
I've always liked barbell rows. You know, that's not really in the same vein as like you know, what you're talking about. But it certainly can teach you how to contract your back. Yeah. And it teaches you to use your back along with your lats, which is something that a lot of people are weak about. You know, they can use their back as long as they're not contracting their lats at the same time. But if they try to contract their back and contract their lats at the same time, they're not as strong on that. And I think that probably is an underutilized thing when it comes to working the back, because in something like squatting, your lats and everything are enormously effective at stabilizing the back. Yeah. If you don't have strong lats, you're just not going to have a strong back.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember when I was in powerlifting, we would do a ton of pull-ups and like chin-ups and stuff on deadlift day, just to kind of increase the back strength and help with the deadlift.
And I always thought pull-ups and chin-ups were way better than pull-downs for back strength.
Yeah. There's never enough weight on those cable machines to do a pull-down.
Well, maybe not for you.
Yeah.
Well, you just put on all the weight and do sets of 10 and say, this ain't enough, and walk out.
Yeah, you know, and then go strap 120 pounds to my waist and do some chin-ups.
Oh, man.
That's, I think, what Becca referred to as a dick move.
I think what we wanted to do is we wanted to take a camera in there, and we were just going to see, we were going to join Planet Fitness and see, and then escalate every day and see how far they would let us go before they kicked us out. You know,
I don't know.
We'll experiment.
Throwing around all the lat pull down weight.
You got to walk in there the first day with some very unintimidating clothes on.
Yeah, I don't think that seems like a winner.
Are they in all seriousness? Are they that strict? I mean, are they?
I've never been in a Planet Fitness.
Yeah. I had a friend who was going to one maybe like 4 years ago, and he was training powerlifting, and he brought his like 3-block bench press in there, just those 2x4s.
Yeah.
And he'd be doing that, and he never got kicked out, and I was surprised, actually. I'm sure now they're getting more strict from what I hear, and, I mean, if you went in there and did a 3-block bench press, you'd probably get kicked out, because it looks funny and it's intimidating.
Well, that just seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is, so on The Biggest Loser, Planet Fitness is one of the sponsors, but at the same time, Bob has them doing CrossFit a lot. So a lot of these people that were on The Biggest Loser this year, I've friended them, or they friended me on Facebook, and I see what they're doing, and they're kind of doing a lot of CrossFit squatting, even like a little bit of Olympic weightlifting, because Holly was on there this year, and I think it's kind of funny. It's interesting that they're pushing CrossFit on the show, but Planet Fitness as well as one of the sponsors. It seemed like two totally opposite things to me.
It seems like a huge dichotomy to me too, because basically it's a gym that won't let you do anything that requires actual effort and strenuousness, if that's even a word, for fear of getting kicked out. I just think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, so they're definitely not marketing towards you.
No.
See, really, I guess they do have their market, or they wouldn't be so big, of people that don't go to gyms. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get intimidated.
People that don't actually want to work out is their market, as far as I can see.
So, I mean, I don't really know a whole lot of people like that, because
you work out?
That's all I do. I mean, I went to school for exercise science. I was a high school athlete and all that. So I just don't know a lot of people that would market to. So I don't understand how it is surviving, but I guess they are surviving. Who knows?
Evidently, there's a big population out there that wants to go to a gym and yet doesn't want to really train.
I think they just want to say they have a membership at a gym. I don't know. Well,
I know people like that, I guess.
Well, That was a side tangent, but getting back to getting your back strong, I like I like the GHD hip extension with the barbell. That really gets your hamstrings and back pretty good. It really gets my back really fired up. You get a really good pump.
Yeah. So something else that's kind of going like Glenn's bent over. I guess there's a video out there of a Pendlay row, where his back is straight. And it's just getting some isometric strength for the erectors, teaching them to be a stabilizer, staying straight the whole time, being over in that it's practically a 90-degree angle, your back is practically parallel to the floor. And then you're getting a lot of isometric strength there. And it's the same thing with those barbell back extensions. I mean,
in that same vein, starting your back extension with the back slightly bent and then contracting the erectors to straighten your back and even take it past 90 a little bit is a good exercise that I think is underused for Olympic weightlifting or anything like that. Yeah. I don't think people do that enough. They do a lot of GHGs and things like that that is basically hip extension.
Yeah.
But they don't really get the erector extension.
The erectors as the prime mover instead of the hamstrings. Yeah. And then that's something to know. On your pull, you definitely don't want to use your erectors as the prime mover. You want them to be the stabilizer. But there's definitely that place to get a strong back by using your erectors as the mover of the lift.
Well, it's just like anything else. If you're trying to build strong biceps, you're never going to build as strong a biceps if the biceps itself is not the prime mover. Not the focus point.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a place for exercises that utilize the erectors as the concentric contraction and the prime mover.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to get a strong back. Is train it isometrically, train it as the prime mover, and then if you're trying to peak for a competition, I think things change there. As far as how far out from a competition you're going to do, or how many sets and reps. So like far out, I mean, for your erectors and glutes, I mean, you can do high reps, like up to 10 to 12 reps, I'm sure, and get some good benefits. And then I guess eventually, as you're peaking out and getting stronger, keep lowering the reps as you go.
And something, train it as a stabilizer. So
yeah.
So mover, stabilizer, and isometric.
You know what else is really good that trains is that a lot of gyms don't have that are starting to get more popular is just reverse hypers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
reverse hypers do train the back extensors as a prime mover. Because you have definitely from the bottom position to the top position, your back and your extensors do generally act as a prime mover, at least part of the range of movement.
Yeah.
So that's a good exercise, definitely.
So, you know what I find interesting? You know how I guess everybody calls it a glute ham device or GHD bench.
Mm-hmm.
And most people use it for a back extension. But most people don't really know what a glute ham raise is, where it's actually used as a knee flexor.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, if you do the glute ham raise on that, you're pretty much straight out at the bottom, which is going to help, again, isometrically for your erectors. And that's another good thing. And also teach you to flex your hamstrings and get some big old hamstrings.
Big old hamstrings. He always says old.
Old. Just O-L-E.
Big young hamstrings.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the next part of that question is where do you put that in an Olympic weightlifting program? I mean, if your back is a weakness, how do you program around that? Because obviously you can't stop doing snatches and clean and jerks.
Well, I think you have to have it in the right sequence. You can't do it when you're peaking. I mean, because extensive back work will kill your ability to snatch and clean and jerk faster than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be in the right place in the program to allow you to focus on building your back extension for a while, and then focusing back on the actual snatch and clean and jerk.
Now, when you were in powerlifting, how would you use these kinds of exercises to work for the back squat and deadlift?
More of a main exercise.
Yeah.
More of a, I did barbell rows an awful lot and good mornings an awful lot. And they generally had what would now be the place for snatches or clean and jerks. Generally at those times when I was doing powerlifting would have been a day for back work.
Yeah. So, I mean, like when I was doing powerlifting, we might deadlift once a month heavy, but all the rest of the time it would be squats and then assistance work for the deadlift being good mornings, reverse hypers, and things of that sort.
Yeah, that's essentially exactly how I used to do powerlifting.
Yeah.
A lot of assistance work and a lot of high volume and wide variety of exercises on the back movements.
Yeah. And I think that's really will make your back a lot stronger because I'm just going to say it, powerlifters have much stronger backs than weightlifters, and they do good with that high, that just so much variety, and the erectors just, I don't know, respond well to it, I think. What would you say to that statement where powerlifters have much stronger backs?
I don't know. I think it depends on the person and depends on their weight class and a lot of other things. But I would say that if you're doing snatches or clean and jerks, not because weightlifters are going to be stronger specific to the snatch and clean and jerk. But if you're counting a lot of assistance exercises and all the different assistance exercises that powerlifters do, I think generally if you look at it from a wide variety of different movements and different exercises and different joint angles and everything, I think there might be some truth to that. Because powerlifters just train more that way, and you get what you train for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah. Never really thought of it that way, but
there's a lot more room in powerlifting training for back exercises without destroying your training program than there is in weightlifting. Just because in weightlifting, the focus has to be very specific to snatch and clean and jerk.
Yeah, no, if you do a lot of back work, I mean, you think it just really fatigues your back for the lifts, it's going to take away a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I was really focusing on a lot of back work right after I came back from Christmas, and definitely took away from the weights that I could do in the snatch and clean and jerk. And now that I've kind of cut some of that out, I feel pretty strong. But yeah, it definitely even took away from how often I was able to back squat heavy. So
yeah, it's definitely a different feel.
Well, I hope we answered that question.
I think we definitely answered that question. I think that was pretty good. I think we went a little further in depth on that than I thought that we would, and I actually learned some things. So,
well, if you learned something, that says volumes for the rest of us.
Well, Glenn's back to his old sarcastic self, being a dickhead.
A lot of
I try.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've been putting Diva of the Day on the board.
Yeah, I think Glenn might have won.
Glenn wins today.
We'll have to put Glenn's name up there so he can win Diva of the Day.
That would be a feather in my cap. Lord.
Well, anyways, you guys got any other questions from the?
That was one of the only ones I got since the last podcast, I think.
How do you get strong gorilla hands?
Well, I just got one right now. How do you get strong gorilla hands?
You need to go hang out with gorillas.
Yeah, that might help. I mean, go climb some trees. When you're up there and on the top of the tree and you're holding on for your life, you're probably going to get stronger.
Anytime you're holding on for your life,
yeah,
that tells me high training intensity.
Yeah, get some high training intensity. Go. What do those kids do where they go up and climb on top of skyscrapers and then hang off the side? They got strong grips.
They should have strong grips, or else they're going to be a flat spot on the pavement.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one way to get stronger.
A lot of incentive right there.
And one thing that you can duplicate that without dying is rope climbs, I think. Just like fat, like 2-inch thick rope climbs. Because when you're up on the top of the rope, it might only be 15 feet tall or something, but
you have an incentive to not fall.
yeah, you have an incentive not to fall. So even if you don't need it, you're going to be squeezed in harder than you think. And then just that effort of squeezing that rope for life, I mean...
And rope climbs are
You
pretty
get strong.
badass also.
Oh, yeah.
They are. I have, at various times in life, when I was lighter than I am now, been able to climb a rope somewhat good. Never like, exceptionally well. But I know that the times that I did so, when I was a wrestler, back in high school, I could climb a rope reasonably well. But that, as far as your arms, your biceps, and your whole arm, and your back, that was one of the more intense workouts that I've ever done. Just climbing up the rope and climbing back down it.
Yeah.
That
Even
will
that eccentric going down.
kick the crap out of you.
Yeah, so as most of the listeners know, I grew up on a boat. So I grew up climbing ropes up to the top
Everybody
of the mast,
knows you grew up on a boat, James.
pulling up anchor lines and all that. So I think I got kind of a head start on that from a young age. So one time I was in the gym, and there was this guy that was, he was about 300 pounds. And he climbed the rope. And he was all like talking junk. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 300 pounds and I climbed the rope and all that. And he was getting up on his high horse. And he's like, none of y'all could do that if you weighed as much as me. And so I kind of took it as a challenge. I weighed 190 then. So I strapped a 110-pound dumbbell on my waist. And then I climbed the rope with a 110-pound dumbbell on there. It was hard. But
That was one of the dick moves of James's life career.
if we're on that topic, then yes. Yeah.
That day he won Diva of the Day, but damn it, he won the challenge.
Yeah.
Did you ever climb a rope where you climb two ropes? One's over here and one's over to your left, one's over to your right, and you use both hands going up, one and then the other?
Yeah. So actually, the first time I ever saw someone do that, it was at UNCW's track field where they had two ropes hanging out, just like that. And this guy was just, I was over there like doing some sprints or something, I don't remember. And he just rode his bicycle up, didn't even get off his bicycle, and then grabbed the two ropes and started climbing right off of a moving bicycle and just let his bicycle fall, and then climbed up to the top and then back down, and then jumped back on his bike and then started pedaling off again. I guess that was his daily workout or something. I was like, dang.
That was his dick move of the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was impressed. I was like, dang, man, if he can do it, I can do it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
That would be pretty impressive.
I know, so
I
I-
mean,
I-
just climbing those rope without your hands is pretty impressive.
I've seen people take two ropes and they're maybe like, 3 or 4 feet apart. They pull them together and do muscle ups on them,
Oh,
like in between the ropes. That's pretty hard. So instead of doing it with rings, you have the two ropes. So rope muscle ups.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
And don't
Guess I'm trying that.
Don't try that before the meet, James. Wait till after the meet.
No, it's okay. I don't have access to two ropes like that right now.
That sounds like a good way to tear your pec or something. I don't
Tear
know.
something, I
Tear
don't know.
something.
See, that's the thing, man. We had that jump rope seminar, and I guess I'm very competitive, and I feel like I want to try everything and try to win. And so there was these people doing these jump ropes. I was like, oh man, I can do that. I had to literally force myself not to go out there and jump rope a week out to competition, because I would get into it too much and then try to be competitive at jump rope, and that would ruin my training.
That was probably a smart call on your part.
Yeah,
You don't want to show up at the Arnold and say, I missed the Pan Ams because I got carried away jumping rope.
yeah. So,
Well, James made some stilts out of wood, and I was at their house today, and I tried them out, and I could not stay on the stilts without falling off, and Travis wouldn't even try them.
Well, I said, I don't want to get hurt. I'm waiting until after the meet. They're not very high or anything, so I don't think it'd be a problem, but it's just one of those things.
yeah.
It's way harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, once you get the hang of it, I mean, it's just like hula hoop. Once you figure it out, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't hula hoop, so maybe I should, I should not try.
I don't even know if I can hula hoop, and that probably says a lot about my ability to hula hoop.
We got a hula hoop.
If I don't know if I can do it or not, I probably can't do it.
I don't know. We'll take video.
I'm fairly
We'll
secure of
Instagram
that.
it.
We can test that today.
We do have a hula hoop.
I don't
and
know if
also
we
drive
need to
a training
video
hall.
that. We might video Dawn hula hooping.
Oh, I'll hula hoop the hell out of you.
Oh.
You will.
We
Don,
got a coach's
Okay,
challenge.
we got a challenge here.
Don just said that he's gonna hula hoop the shit out of Glenn. I don't know what that means, but I think basically,
I don't know what it means either. It's kind of scary.
I mean, I'm imagining. So I watched Zoolander the other day, and it's two male models, and they're having a walk off. So I'm imagining, Don and Glenn having a hula hoop off, just like getting out there, like I don't know, with the blue steel look.
Oh, yeah. The Magnum.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Magnum.
releasing Magnum. Yeah.
Well, I think in that one walk-off, like, the move was to, he reached down in his pants and he tried to pull his underwear out. And the one guy did it, and they weren't ripped or anything.
Yeah.
And then the other guy goes in there and he's about to do it, and then he just gives himself a huge wedgie. And then, like, falls over.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen Zoolander. Never
Pretty
seen
good
it.
movie. It's on Netflix, so if you want to laugh, I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of Ben Stiller's better movies, close to Tropic Thunder, but not as good as Tropic Thunder.
Oh, jeez.
I've never seen Tropic Thunder either.
I haven't either.
Don't bring Tropic Thunder into this. Zoolander is way ahead of.
Oh, I don't know about it. See, Zoolander, you can watch a few times and it's good, and then you watch it like another time and it gets old. Every time you watch Tropic Thunder, it gets better and better.
Dodgeball's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dodgeball is pretty good.
Wasn't Ben Stiller in there?
Yeah, so Ben Stiller had this
Who else was in that?
handlebar.
Dodgeball.
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Yeah, there you go.
I trained at a gym when I was in high school. It was a public gym. And there was a guy in there that looked just like Ben Stiller in that movie. He was a gym owner, and he had the handlebars and everything. And it was like, it looked like he was about to go try out for like the Dodgeball National Championships.
Well, I mean, if you can make the Dodgeball National Championship team,
You're doing something right.
If Ben Stiller can be a Dodgeball National Champion person, and
person.
I don't know, I wouldn't call it an athlete. I don't know what to call him.
Just a
Dodgeballer.
thing.
Yeah,
Dodgeball thing.
dodgeball thing, and also be
Ben
Zoolander, the male model, with the center for kids who can't read good. For anyone that watches that movie, and learn to do other stuff good too. There's some good one-liners in that one. What is this? A center for ants? It's got to be at least 3 times this big.
Yeah, I actually forgot that's what movie that line came from.
Well, I haven't seen the movie, so
in that movie,
you've all lost me now.
When we got to that part, I was cracking up because I was like, this is one of the greatest movie lines ever that people talk about.
And the you googly.
You Google. Yeah, he's
I
giving.
didn't know what a you googly was.
He's giving a eulogy at a funeral, and then he's like, I'm such a good you Googler,
You Googleizer.
you Googleizer.
Oh, you didn't
It's
think I
just
knew
like-
what a you googly was?
Oh man!
Oh, to be a you googly.
All right.
That's just getting crazy now.
Yeah, that movie's pretty crazy. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this movie after you watch it.
Well, I'll have to get it off of what'd you say? Netflix. Yeah, I'll have to get it off Netflix. Yeah, but I would like to see it.
So we're gonna have another.
I feel like it's went a long enough time since it was out that I should see it.
Well, like 2001. I think it's
that's-
time, Glenn.
That's a good 10 years.
It's yeah.
13-ish.
years.
It's like my
It's a teenager.
my thoughts on music. You know, you can't listen to music that just came out last year. You've got to listen to music that's been
last year.
well last year, the year before. You got to listen to music that's been out for a good 10 years because by that time
All the bad
all the
stuff.
crappy songs have gone away And the only thing that's left is the songs that are really good. So you're left with the radio station that plays nothing but really good songs if you're listening to the 70s or something like that. Those are my thoughts on music selection.
I agree with you. I mean, that's what I do with video games. You get a video game, like if you buy one now, it's like $500 for the system and then like $60 a video game. You just buy a Nintendo for like $15 and then you're set. You just don't play anything until it's like 15 years old and then you buy it for $20 and then you don't know any better because you never played the new ones.
That's one
so you
way
don't know
to
how
do
good
it.
it is.
That's one way to do it. Yeah, I agree with that.
You playing some
I think what he really likes about it is there's like really detailed walkthroughs. So if you can't figure the game out.
Oh yeah. I just recently beat the original Zelda, and that's a hard game to beat if you don't have those walkthroughs.
I don't see how anyone figured out that game without a walkthrough.
Yeah, but I mean, now that I've done it once, it's easy, but you can't do it without a walkthrough. I mean, I'd be impressed if someone could.
Yeah.
Because all those like Japanese like.
You know what? As much as I played that game, I've never beat it start to finish. So.
I remember the original Zelda on what was it, the Nintendo or
NES,
something?
Nintendo Entertainment System. The original.
Yeah. Boy, I think when we finally got Zelda, my brother and I basically took a long weekend of nothing but Zelda for 24/7 in order to beat that game.
It's hard
we played Zelda for 3 days in a row all day long. Like took turns at it for 24 hours at a time, and finally beat it. But I remember when I originally beat the Zelda game, I thought I'd really done something. Like I thought, man, this is an accomplishment.
I am badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that on your resume.
Well, you should be able to put that on your resume.
I got stuck at the last part.
You'd be surprised at what might get you a job if you put that on your resume. You might. That might spark up a conversation.
Persistent.
Hey, I've been getting Facebook ads saying, you want to be a game tester? Earn $50,000 a year. I mean, I'd be
sign me up.
Game tester.
I was really curious on where you were going with that because the Facebook ads that pop up tell you a lot about a person, like what they're searching outside of Facebook. So.
Oh, man.
It's true.
Yeah, I got another one that had an upside-down house on it. And so I was interested because it had an upside-down house, so I clicked on it. And it wasn't nearly as cool as I thought. I thought they were going to teach you how to build a house upside down. But
what?
Only you would think that. I swear.
It was about flipping a house.
I thought they were going to teach you how to build a house upside down.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. So that's what I was like. I would buy this little manual to teach me how to build a house upside down.
Like underground. So the point being underground.
Yeah. So the point's underground.
Okay, so like a bomb shelter, really.
You ever been to Myrtle Beach and they've got that amusement park there by the airport? I guess. What's it called? Broadway by the beach. They have a giant building that's upside down there.
I've never been.
Okay.
But either way, it was a little house that looked like that, and I thought they were going to teach
almost like a Ripley's Believe It or Not building.
Yeah,
it just kind of looks freaky.
Yep.
Cool.
But it wasn't that, and I was disappointed. Facebook needs to step their game up with my advertisements.
Screw those people. They need to learn how to build houses upside down.
James, you could be the first one.
If more people could build a house upside down, the world would be a better place.
Well, it's like if a plane was flying backwards, it would just be forward. So if more houses were
what?
Well, if more houses were
if a plane was flying backwards, it'd just be forward.
Yeah,
backwards is the new forward.
Forward. I mean, if more than
that's
half,
deep, man.
Then you have to define what's forward.
If more houses were built upside down than right side up, then I mean, upside down would be the norm. So that'd be right side up.
Downside up.
Downside up. I don't know. We're getting crazy.
Yeah.
We're getting
I'm just
crazy.
Thinking about boats capsizing.
Boats and hoes, huh?
Yeah, well, I used to sell that.
That was a YouTube song.
Boats and hoes. Oh yeah.
What was that song off of?
Was it Lonely Island Boys?
Oh, I'm on a boat.
No, that was I'm on a Boat. What's Boats and Hoes?
I don't know. I mean, you grew up on a boat, so you're supposed to know everything about boats.
Well, my business partner, Deacon, actually wanted me to get boats tattooed on one leg and hose tattooed on the other leg.
Oh, that sounds like a capital idea.
Yeah, the boats and hose.
That would
Right
be
leg and left leg.
the best tattoo ever.
All right. Well, this show, we got to end it because we got to train, but we did have some fun at the end there.
Yeah.
One thing that is going on is I have a Teespring campaign going on, teespring.com/theweightliftingscoop. A lot of people were asking me for shirts, like a shirt design. So we made a shirt design and we're selling those. And if we get 50 orders, then we'll go ahead and have those made with Teespring. They're $19.99 a piece.
They're pretty cool looking shirts.
Yeah. I wore one in one of the videos a couple weeks ago. And basically, any of the money that we make is going to go towards updating the equipment for the podcast so that it can keep going and building an inventory for other products potentially for the future. So
buy one.
Yeah. So check that out, teespring.com/theweightliftingscoop. Also tweet us at WLiftingScoop. And you guys got anything?
I have nothing.
All right, bye, Pendlay Barbell, and we will probably see you later on this week right before the Arnold.
Probably so.